One person asked me a question, and the question is, what's the difference between a dream and a vision? What does the Bible say in the book of Job 33, verse 14? The Bible says, for God may speak in one way or in another way, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep fall upon men. So God is speaking when men are what? Sleeping. God is doing what? Is speaking. So how does God speaks? The Bible says he speaks in dreams and he speaks in what? In vision. So you need to understand one thing before I can explain the difference between a vision and a dream. One thing you need to understand, for example, we've got what we call a TV, and we've got a radio station, and we've got a newspaper, and we've got social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, wherever that you can talk about. So when the news they are trying to communicate, they will communicate through what? A television. They will communicate through what? A radio station. They will communicate through a newspaper. I'll use these three because they're common. So the same message that they are communicating on the television is the same message that they are communicating on the radio station. It is the same message that they are communicating on the newspaper. So they are communicating about one thing, but they are using a different channel. So the message is not different. The message is one, but they are using different channels. And remember, the message that you receive on the news is not different from the message that you receive from the radio station. It is not different from the message that you receive on the newspaper. It is one message. So there is no one that is lesser and there is nothing that is higher. Okay, there is nothing that is lesser and there is nothing that is higher. It is one message using a different channel. So God uses different channels to communicate to people based on their maturity. So there will be some people who are spiritually matured and there are some people who are spiritually babes. So when God wants to pass an information or a message to these people, he will use a different channel. He will communicate in a different way. So when he see that you are not spiritually matured, he will wait for you to sleep. And when you sleep, he will speak to you in that dream. And if he see that you have matured, he will speak to you in a vision. And when he sees you that now you have matured enough, he can speak to you like he used to speak to Moses one-on-one. That's why he said in the book of Exodus, he said, if there is any prophet among you, I speak to him in what? In dreams and in vision. But to my son Moses, I speak face to face. So because why? Moses is matured. So God can be able to trust him with information. Moses is matured. God can give him what? Information, and he can speak to God face to face as a friend speak to a friend, because Moses is matured. So that's why now God speaks in the dream. So the reason why God speaks in a dream to many people is because why? When during the day they are very busy, because they are very busy, they don't have time to hear from God, and they are not spiritually matured, so they cannot hear what God is saying. So God will wait for them to go to bed. When they go to bed and they are sleeping, because when you sleep, your flesh is weak and your spirit is strong. So God is interested in your spirit, because God is a spirit. So he communicates to your spirit. So you want to communicate to your spirit and pass information to your spirit. So now God will wait for you to sleep. And you need to understand that any time when God speaks in the dreams, he uses what? He uses symbols and he uses signs. So he uses symbols and he uses signs so that when you wake up now, you seek for help and you seek for people who understand how to interpret dreams in order for them to interpret what God was trying to say to you in the dream. A vision God speaks to you is an open vision. So a vision, it gives you direct message. This one, you don't need an interpretation. This one is direct to you because God wants to pass on information and he has checked the level of your growth. He see that you can receive and you can chew that information. So he will use what? An open vision. An open vision, because now you have what? You have matured and you can understand what God is saying. So he will use an open vision. And most of time this happens to me, that when I'm in a service and I'm preaching and I'm talking to people, all of a sudden a person is standing in front of me and I'm trying to give a prophetic word to this person. Everyone in the church, they will disappear. And I'll be only able to see this person in front of me, or I'll be able to see the problem that this person is struggling with. Everything in the church has disappeared. But in my mind, I must tell myself that there are still people in this building. And then I'll begin to tell a person what I am seeing. Because that one now, it is not a dream, it is not anything, but it is a vision. I'm seeing a vision. So anytime when you are about to see a vision, God will make sure everything disappear and it's just between you and God. And God will be able to show you what he wants to show you or to communicate with you. So that takes maturity for you to understand. Imagine if you are a person who does not know anything about prophetic. Let's see now, you see a person and God is saying this person is suffering with a spirit of a dog, and all of a sudden the only thing you see in the room is a dog and everyone disappeared. How do you deal with that? Because even you yourself who is in the vision, you'll be afraid. So now God, because he has seen that you have not yet matured, you are going to scream. So God will use what? He will use a dream. Sometimes I can go to a public place and I will enter into a marketplace. And when I enter into marketplace, I will see a person selling food. This other side, I can see the legs of a god. This other side, I can see a human being. And then I'm with people in that marketplace. What am I going to do? Am I going to scream? Am I going to shout? I'll just move and go to the next person. Because why? God now can trust me with information. God can trust me because he has seen the level of my maturity. So he can show me an open vision. And I can able to see what other people cannot see. Because now God has trusted me and he has seen the level of my maturity, that I can handle pressure, that I can handle things that other people cannot handle. So that's why to Moses, he was speaking to him face to face. But to other prophets, he was speaking to them in vision and in dreams because of the level of their maturity. But does not mean that this one who is receiving from the dream is receiving less information. This one who is receiving from a vision is receiving less information from this person who is receiving direct from God. No, all of them, they are receiving same information. But God is choosing a channel that is suitable for that person and that will make that person to understand what God is trying to say. So many people, they have missed a voice of God because of the level of their maturity. That's why when you read in the book of Joel, the Bible says, in the last days I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. So now here is not talking about people who have a gift of prophetic. Here is not talking about the prophet, the teacher, or whoever, but it's talking about all flesh. He said, young men shall what? Shall see vision, and the elderly one shall what? Shall dream dreams, and what? And the young what? And the young men shall do what? Shall prophesy. So now this is not about the age. This is what we talk about, spiritual age. A spiritual age has got nothing to do with your years. It has to do with your maturity. So for God to trust you with a certain information, you must first grow in the level of maturity. That's why the Bible says, now unto us a child is born. Now unto us a son is given. So a son is not about the gender. A son is a level of maturity. So now God is looking at the level of maturity. Immediately when you see it goes to what? To a son, and then the responsibility is given. He said, now unto us a child is born. There is no responsibility attached to what? To a child. Now unto us a child is born. Now unto us a son is given. So a son is given, a child is born. And the Bible now goes ahead and says, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. So responsibilities are given to the sons. Responsibilities are not given to a child, because a child is a babe. He cannot handle things of the spirit. A son is matured, can handle the things of the spirit. That's why the Bible says the government shall be upon his shoulders, because it is a duty of a son to do the will of the father. A child cannot do the will of the father. Even if a child, it looks strong, even if a child it can talk too much, it cannot make the things happen. People who makes things happen, they are sons. Okay, so that's why now you need to understand that this is not a level of your age and whatsoever thing. This is a level of maturity in the things of God. So God will trust you based on your maturity, and he will communicate to you based on the maturity. So a difference between a vision and a dream. A vision you receive when you are still awakened, like you are not sleeping, you are not awakened. You just close your eyes and God drops something in your spirit. It may take 2 minutes, but the information is a lot. And the dream, you must go to bed and sleep. While you are sleeping, then God will speak to you in signs and in what? And in symbols. So that when you wake up, it will trouble you. And when it trouble you, you begin to seek for the truth. While you are seeking for the truth, now you will be able to interpret what God was trying to communicate with you. If you are a person who does not understand how to interpret dreams, you must look for a person who understands how to interpret dreams, to understand what God was trying to communicate with you. But every dream carries message, but it takes one who understands how to interpret dreams and to give you what? A message that God was trying to communicate. So a vision you receive while you are not sleeping nor awakened. A dream you receive when you are what? Sleeping. And the reason why we receive in a different way is because of the level of our maturity. So if you want to move and to understand dreams, you must sit under people who understand dreams, and you must desire this spirit to come upon you, because the Bible says, and I have given to Daniel a skill of interpreting dreams. So it is a skill, it's not a gift. It is a skill. So you must look for the people who has a skill of interpreting dreams in order for you to understand what God is saying. I hope this message has helped somebody. Please follow for more, and please tag somebody. I love you with the love of God. Shalom. God bless you.